All right, here with Kelly Vaughan, coach of the Greenbrier West Cavaliers. Cavs coming off a state championship appearance. And Kelly, you couldn't have really scripted a better first year. I mean, I know you've been around here forever. You played here, assistant coach here, but head coach, first year, state championship appearance. Heck of a year.
It was an awesome year, Dave. We had kids that bought into what we were doing and what we were trying to teach them, and their chemistry was off the charts, and it was a lot of fun. And what a super bunch of kids to coach, and got to compliment our entire staff for what a wonderful job they did, and also got to compliment the community and administration for stepping up behind us once that ball started rolling our way. And it was, like I say, it was a awesome run, a lot of fun, and something them boys will definitely cherish the rest of their lives.
Right. Every year brings challenges. One of the challenges this year, I talked to Ethan Holiday, who was coach or captain of the first team All-State team, a senior. You got to replace. You've had a very good defense the last 2 years. I think it's something like 14 shutouts or something in 2 years. You got to replace a lot of those parts. First team All-State were Holiday and Witt, and also there was another. It was Cole Vandal, your quarterback. I mean, obviously got to replace some major parts.
Major parts. Those kids, like I said earlier, did an outstanding job. They were very coachable. They got along so well. You know, it just made it a whole heck of a lot of fun. We didn't have no drama we had to put up with, and the kids, like I said earlier, they bought into what we were doing, and a wonderful ride, Dave. Wonderful ride.
You were able to also mix up your offensively. You were able to mix up your rushing game with the passing game, something that maybe in the past down here you guys were run heavy, probably 90% of the time. How big was that in you making it to the state championship?
Oh, it was huge. Coach Osborne done a fantastic job coaching them boys up, and Cole Vandal, I think the last I read or spoke with anyone about it, he broke over 17 passing records. I mean, we just normally don't have that type of quarterback then that can throw the ball as well as he did. But not only that, we had 5, 6 kids that could catch the ball, and you know, the opponents had a tough time zeroing in just one particular guy. But again, it goes back with the way them kids got along, how they enjoyed being with each other, and they had confidence in each other.
One thing that you ran up against, you won't say it, I know you won't make the excuse, but you ran up some injury problems heading into the last 2 games. James Monroe, in which you were able to get out of that game and advance to the state championship game. Williamstown would be hard for anybody with a whole team, but you didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher in that game. That gave other guys a chance to maybe play more than they would in that situation. You had Ozzie Agee, for one, came in and really gave you gave you about 60 yards rushing.
He did, and he gave us some quality minutes in that game, and that's the reality of dealing with football. Right now, today is the end of June, and we're looking at we got a kid right now broke a finger. We got two kids right now with shoulders. We got a couple kids with hammies, and you know we're in June, so I mean you got to learn to adapt, improvise, and overcome when those things happen. And the kids that stepped in for those other kids did a fantastic job, regardless of the outcome. They played with everything they had.
Aside from the coaching aspect, aside from the fact that these guys are all great athletes, why over the last 2 years has your defense been so good?
Well, I got to give Coach Rob a lot of credit, but on top of what he does defensively, we had kids that could actually play the game like you're supposed to play it. And they understood their alignments, they understood their techniques, they understood their coverages. And again, I got to compliment the kids because they're the ones that go out there and make plays. We try our best to teach them to the best of our abilities, but in the whole scheme of things, they got to be the one to make the plays. And that group made a lot of superb plays as far as defensively.
And it kind of sounded like I almost wanted to shortchange the coaching there, but Coach Robertson's defense is, I mean, for the guys you had, for what he put in, I mean, it was almost like a perfect mixture.
It was, and you know, or the perfect storm analogy.
Right.
It worked out super. The kids, like I say, bought into what he was doing, and we did have some depth, and we were able to rotate 15, 16 kids in there. That really helps as far as when you're playing single A football, because most generally, I tell people that I played college ball with, we got to play Iron Man football, and they kind of look at me, what do you mean Iron Man football? And I'm like, our kids got to play both ways.
And no two platooning to
Yeah,
kind of thing,
just because of numbers. But hats off to our kids. I have nothing but praise. And again, I'll emphasize what a ride. There was nothing better than seeing our community come together and support us. And that ride through Rainelle on that tour bus on the way to Wheeling was something sweet, something they'll definitely, and I'll cherish.
Was that a once in a lifetime defense you had the last 2 years?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, we got kids, we got 17 ninth graders that's out here working right now. They had some good years when they were at the middle school, so you know we'll coach them up. We're gonna get in the weight room, and we're gonna see what them cats can do in a few years.
What will be different about this defense, do you think?
We'll be a little bigger up front. As far as size-wise, we got a few bigger kids. We still have some kids that can run. People don't realize we got an agey kid that he was state champion in the high hurdles, and they won the state championship in the shuttle hurdles. The kid can run. And we got a nice linebacker that comes back, C.W. Sturgill, that he'll lay the boom on people, and we love how he plays. And them two guys got to step up and be our quote-unquote leader on defense.
You have had to run because of the offense you guys run for years. You were part of it and you coached in it. Had a run of great 1,000-yard backs here. Brown. Then you go to Ty Nickel. And last year it was Jake Pate. Is Isaac Agee, do you think he or somebody else in the mix here that can be that 1,000-yard guy?
I do. I believe that wholeheartedly. We got to stay healthy.
You think it's Agee?
We're going to work about right now. It's Agee, but you know, come August, things are different. We're looking hard for quarterbacks. He's liable to end up playing some quarterback. You never know. Hey, buddy, you got to adapt, improvise, and overcome.
Well, you had a defensive lineman. You were a defensive lineman quarterback here yourself.
There you go. I had a coach come up last year watching us practice, and he said, Kelly, he said, this is not the same Greenbrier West football I'm accustomed to. He said, you're all small up front, don't have a lot of big kids. I said, well, we got to adapt what we do to our kids. And this year we will be a little bigger up front. And, you know, we'll just wait and see what happens, because we're working on a lot of different schemes, a lot of different formations right now, and they're catching on.
Well, I'm sure that people will know some of the names, but you mentioned your quarterback situation. I would assume that's one of the things you're going to really want to address in August.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you are now too in 7-on-7 June ball.
Right, and we are, and that's the good part about June ball. That does help us get a little bit ahead of the ball game, as far as just waiting until August to try 3 or 4 kids. But
is it 3 or 4?
It is. Yeah, we're gonna try 3 or 4 kids.
Is anybody ahead of the pack?
Nobody's ahead right now. I mean, it is wide open. Vandal kid is throwing the ball nicely. Sam's kid has some talent.
There's another Vandal?
There's another Vandal. He's actually a cousin to Cole that played last year. So you know, we're trying. We're gonna put the best 11 kids on the field. And I will say this, Dave, we are very fortunate to have kids that will buy in and play position that they may not necessarily want to play, but it helps us become a nice team.
Is this team like last year's team in that they will compete? They will. I think it's probably always been a staple you wanted, that you got tough kids, farm type kids, agriculture area.
Right.
Is this the same type of mentality on this team?
It is, and I love their attitudes. Right now we've had a couple days over 40 kids at summer workout. Today we got kids at some camps, this, that, and the other. We had 31 today, and it's just nice having that many kids. And they, hey, we as a staff are thrilled to death with their attitudes and efforts for splitting them up in different groups and going to the weight room them going out on the field and working on football things.
Last thing, what is your opinion on this new four-class system? I mean, you're gonna lose a rivalry that was really starting to develop because you won't be able to play in the playoffs, and that's James Monroe. They're going up to Double A, so obviously that takes a little bit out of the rivalry aspect. I think everybody knew when you met down here last year, you were going to meet again in the playoffs. It was just inevitable. You played them 4 times in the last 2 years, and both times, I think the last one was for a shot at the state champion. Both times in the semifinal. No, one time was in the quarters, I believe.
2 years ago was the
quarters, and then last year the semi.
Last year, yes, and we've got a great rapport with James Monroe. Like you say, it has developed into a nice little rivalry.
I mean, you can still play, yes,
absolutely,
but you won't. It won't be.
That is true. And our schedule's completely different. We're playing Man, Fort Fry, Ohio, Huntington, St. Joe, Petersburg, Pendleton County.
Do you like it for that reason, or not like it for that reason?
Well, it's tough because of the.
None of those you mentioned were area.
No, they're all three. They're new, and honestly, it does hurt your gates because some schools are so far away. They don't bring a whole lot of people whenever we play here on Friday night, because we try. And I tell people this: we got a cheerleading sponsor that does a wonderful job getting them out for cheer. I know they have over 20. We have a band director that does an awesome job getting the kids out for the band, and we try to make Friday nights an event. And it's not necessarily a football game. Yes, we're here to play football, but we have alumni coming in on Friday nights. We have homecoming on Friday nights. We have the Little Leaguers. They do a great job coming in on Friday nights. And people don't realize what an atmosphere does for high school kids participating, especially in football, because it is an emotional game. And we try to make Friday nights here at Charmco special. There's nothing better than saying.
You know, like four classes maybe hurts that a little bit.
I can't answer that yet. Can't answer that yet. You know, it's the first go around. Give me a couple years, and maybe we'll go with that a little bit deeper.
Sturgill, CW, is he one of the tougher guys on this team now?
He is. I like him.
Anybody would have said Holiday last year just for the size and what he did?
I like him. He's a ball player.
CW Sturgill.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Kelly, I appreciate your time as always, and look forward to August.
Thank you. Go.